Welcome back to this final session. My name is Dr. Antonino Pugliesi, and like John, I'm one of the European advisors at ACRO. And welcome back to this final session, where we will be focusing more on the international dimension of our research and innovation landscape. And I'm sure you are persuaded, like I am, by the end of the day, that research and innovation do not develop in a vacuum. As the UUKi mission statement says, we transform it tomorrow together. And science innovation takes a lot of collaboration, very often international and global collaboration. And it's a great honor for me today to chair this session together with three special guests. I must say three friends by now. Dajana Dzanovic from University UK International. She will help us navigate the UK landscape and bring the perspective of UK universities. And then Quentin Loisel and Magdalena Razalan from the Marie Curie Alumni Association. We have heard a lot about the Marie Curie Alumni Association, MCAA for short, and today we will hear more about the structure and the mission statement of the association. But let's start with Dajana. Very briefly, she's the head of Global Research and Innovation Policy at Universities UK International, where she's responsible for foresight activities related to international research funding, including work on boosting participation in areas of Europe, very relevantly, and engaging with International Science Partnership Fund. She's particularly interested in the areas where policy meets practice and works collaborative across UUKi and externally to maximize opportunities for the UK higher educational institution sector. So Dajana, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Nino, for that very kind introduction. I'm not sure whether John is in the audience, but I'm really pleased you're chairing this session. I'm not quite sure what random fact about me John would have come up with, but yeah, great to see you all. Thank you very much. And thank you, particular kind of thank you to colleagues from UK Research Office, obviously, for inviting me here, for all the hard work that's gone into the planning, colleagues from UKRI, and also colleagues from the European Commission. And all of you who are here. Hopefully my presentation is going to be short and hopefully sweet as well. Some really, really top-level information about universities UK and Universities UK International, how we work, why we're here, why Marie Curie actions are really important, and then some really quite obvious facts, but I like writing them down on a slide. So I will try and move on to the next slide. Don't worry about the detailed text here. I just really wanted to introduce Universities UK. If you haven't come across us before, we are a member of organisation of pretty much most universities in the UK. So I really sort of represent this strong collective voice of UK higher education sector. And I guess when it came to sort of negotiation of association to Horizon Europe, we were quite a strong collective voice of UK universities. Worked really closely with funders, governmental departments to really make sure that we get the best deal for the higher education sector and UK as a whole. So really delighted that has happened. We do have a strategy, so again, don't worry about the detail too much, but essentially, we'd like to support and work with universities to make them more successful, but also relevant for the present day, to serve kind of for the benefit of society, and research and innovation are an integral part of that. And then in terms of Universities UK International, we essentially kind of call ourselves an international arm of UUK. So we do, essentially we're part of Universities UK, but we have a remit to support a number of international oriented kind of policy areas. So global research innovation is one of those, but also global mobility. Responsible internationalization, so becoming quite a prominent topic area, international experience for our staff and students, and something that's a little bit vague, well, something that is a little bit sort of unknown to me, which is transnational education. And I guess for the purpose of today, I just really wanted to highlight that actually when you talk about the Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions, it really sort of weaves itself into a number of policy areas that UUKi works on. So global research innovation, obviously, because it supports researchers, but also global talent. We've heard about the global talent visa earlier on, but also enabling kind of international experience of researchers coming to the UK, but also UK-based researchers going internationally. So it's really, really important for us and as an organization to really support and promote opportunities that are available through the Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions. And I know we've said this so many times and we've seen this many times, but it has given me great pleasure to put this slide together because we are associated to Horizon Europe, hurrah, but also really helpfully the European Commission, I think, have done an amazing job in terms of making this information really accessible and visible out there, and particular colleagues also from the Research Executive Agency, making it quite obvious from the Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions that UK participation is now as an associate country to this part of the programme. And I guess just talking about kind of Marie Skłodowska-Curie, we've heard this morning that she was involved in, essentially chemistry, physics, research. Radiation is one of the elements of space science, and it's quite an important and quite an interesting subject area from my kind of personal perspective. So I thought, why not think about Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions in sort of under the theme of space? So we do want to attract and retain talent. We do want to get best researchers from anywhere in the world to come and do a little bit of research in the UK, make a difference, I guess, to our system, but also utilize that talent to create collaborations with countries anywhere in the world. We also would like, I guess, Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions to help us retain some of that talent and maybe through opportunities like global fellowships, enable that talent to maybe go elsewhere, learn something new, bring that knowledge back to the UK. So it's really important from that kind of individual point of view, and speaking of the individuals, also enables those individuals to build capacity. So individuals through the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Action programs build their own individual capacity by attending training activities, career developments. We've heard and seen some really excellent examples where researchers have truly benefited from either being doctoral students, fellows, and otherwise in terms of just getting their career onto the right career path, whether that's in research or developing those skills that would enable them to take those skills into a slightly different kind of career path. But also in terms of principal investigators, I know that PIs, researchers who kind of lead on these projects, often don't get their own funding to kind of their own bits of research. They act as coordinators. But I have had the pleasure of working with quite a lot of academics over the years who have actually really seen Marie Skłodowska-Curie Action and coordinating role of Marie Skłodowska-Curie Action as quite a career boost to themselves. So I'm showing my age here. Back in FP7, we used to have something called ERSIS, which essentially is the exchange scheme now. And one of the researchers I've worked with, basically, that was a goal changer for him. As a relatively early career stage researcher, he submitted a proposal, was successful, and then used that essentially to build up a network and his own interpretation expertise, and then 10 years on, he's coordinated maybe 3 or 4 doctoral program networks, collaborating with different groups of individuals, and has then won, Royal Academy of Engineering fellowships and so on. So, and he always uses that project as a real example of actual career boost to himself as a sort of PI. And sort of the next thing was around international collaboration, and we've heard really excellent examples of that. But from kind of a university sector point of view, this is really critical. We do brilliant science in the UK, but we do things much better when we're collaborating with others. And I think there's a real benefit in that kind of knowledge sharing. And that's a real sort of driver for the universities and university sector, is really that kind of international exposure. Interdisciplinary, intersectoral research. So that's really represented by essentially the rocket going into space. So you need a lot of different, I guess, types of researchers to come together to make a Marie Curie Action Program. The interdisciplinary is really, really important. Understanding social aspects of engineering solutions is really, really critical. Utilizing some of the humanities research to understand maybe some of the other kind of complex projects is really, really important. So that kind of interdisciplinary is really, really sort of shines through the Marie Curie actions. And similar with intersectoral, it is great to do just great research, but sometimes that research actually has applications. Sometimes that research has wider impacts and benefits. And it really is that kind of collectiveness of interdisciplinary, intersectoral. It really makes sometimes think some projects and some research fields really take further. And then develop partnerships. We've seen projects, that have snowballed. So one person has been invited to one project or has hosted a fellow who happens to have come from a different country. They create kind of links that weren't there before, and then those academics kind of continue to collaborate, maybe introduce each other to each other's partners, and take essentially institutional approach to partnerships. And some of these have actually become so important that universities have done these things called memoranda of understanding with other universities and collaborators and partners, because the strength and the breadth of the collaboration between institutions developed through research and possibly other types of activities has really, really cemented that into some of more of a strategic partnership. And the last but not least is impact. So it is great to do excellent research, and that excellent research by definition will do. It doesn't have to be necessarily focused on solutions. It doesn't necessarily have to have a thing at the end of it, but it will, by definition, have some kind of impact. So usually societal impact in terms of publications. Dare I say, and I mentioned this thing called breadth. So there are sort of things that I guess research will help deliver, will help drive that kind of global a reputation of the universities and sector. And, fields like arts, humanities and social sciences, and I know colleagues from UUKi here, but it is one of those fields that actually has really hugely benefited from Horizon funding or European funding in the past, particularly through Marie Curie actions and also ERC. So there are certain research fields that actually this type of scheme works really, really well for. So just to kind of wrap up, I tackled the European Commission portal, which is great. I mean, it's a great source of information, and if you wanted to sort of find out about how well each country is doing in particular types of the program, you can kind of find all this information. But I guess for me, there's lots of information on this in this picture, but for me, the sort of take-home messages are we collaborate as the UK, we collaborate a lot through the Marie Curie actions, and the top collaborators include, for example, Germany, the Netherlands, Italy, so the usual suspects. But to me, the interesting bit of this kind of slide is really the map. So there are lots of wiggles going everywhere, and it just basically shows that through these programs, UK universities, UK higher education sector, and this is not exclusively higher education sector data, but predominantly so, will be collaborating essentially across the world. And that is really just a really positive thing for, I guess, me to observe on behalf of UK university sector. So I will leave it there. Thank you so much. And thank you.
Thanks very much, Dajana, for highlighting how the Marie Curie actions are valued in the UK university ecosystem and the added value they bring into the national context as well. And now, in the context of my favorite session of today, I have the pleasure to introduce Quentin and Maria from the Marie Curie Alumni Association. For those of you who are not familiar with it, that's an international non-profit organization established and supported by the European Commission, but run for the most part by volunteers. So full disclosure, I'm an active member myself. I've been active in the organization for a number of years, and personally, it's been really instrumental for not only welcoming and giving me a sense of community as a researcher myself during my years in Turkey now, in Istanbul, during my, at the time, individual fellowship, but really broadening my horizon about what it means to be a scientist today and the implication that it brings about in society, particularly in the science policy interface. But now it's time to introduce properly the next two speakers. Quentin Loisel is currently a PhD student at Glasgow Caledonian University, where he's part of a Marie Curie action called Earth Cascade Project. He's working on the co-creation of methodology with digital technology. Quentin is also the chair of the UK chapter of the Marie Curie Alumni Association. And contextually, I've also introduced Maria because it's a joint presentation they give. Maria Magdalena Razalan is currently a grants manager at the Academy of Medical Sciences. A passion for science and innovation stems from her background in biotechnology and biology. She was a Marie Curie early stage researcher working on enzymes for biotechnological application within the FP7 ITN. And Maria has recently been elected secretary of the International MCAA board. So Maria and Quentin, the floor is yours, and I believe we start with Maria.
This. Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. It's been a great day today, and I'm really pleased to be here to be talking about the MCAA alongside my colleague Quentin. So briefly, I think Antonino already mentioned it very nicely earlier that we have been founded in 2014, so we just celebrated our 10th anniversary as an association. And the membership to the association is completely free of charge, and everyone, not only alumni, not only those who have completed their MSCA fellowship can join it, also the current alumni, current fellows can join it as well. And Quentin is obviously an example since he's still a part of an ITN. And basically, this is to underline that the benefits that come with membership of the MCAA basically expand during the tenure of the fellowship, but also afterwards, and possibly for a very, very long time if you are also joining the Marie Curie Alumni Association. Here we have the mission of the association. So our mission is to bring together the MSCA community and to support the career development of the different researchers that we encounter at all career stages, but also we want to be the voice for researchers across borders and across different disciplines. Our vision is to create an inclusive research environment that basically enables knowledge to actually benefit the society. Here we have a summary of the services that are offered by the Marie Curie Alumni Association. So these range from, for example, a member directory that enables interconnection between different members. We have events. We have a whole range of platforms for training, for example. And we also offer microgrants that allow our members to participate to conferences or to undertake some specialist training. And also we offer awards for those who have achieved something really, really great, so just to recognize their efforts. In terms of membership, at the moment, we recently reached the milestone of 22,000 members throughout the globe. And you can see through this diagram how these are pulled from different sectors and different disciplines. And at the top left, you can see the scientific panels as defined by MSCA. So you can see the variety of disciplines represented. We also have over 150 different nationalities in our membership and a proportional number of countries of residence for our members as well, and also members' ages too are very diversified. So this is a very nice picture of how diverse our membership is at the moment. In terms of structure, I'm not going to be very specific because we are the last step before the networking and the drinks that we all very well deserve at this point. But I will just mention that all our members can access the MCAA chapters. We have at the moment 37 different geographical chapters that are spread throughout 5 different continents, as outlined on the slide. And we also have thematic working groups. And these are, for example, bridging science to business, as well as career development, communication, policy, and gender equity and diversity and inclusion that we heard from our speaker Magda earlier today. And this is hopefully an opportunity for all our members to engage with local activities, but to also contribute to conversations about specific topics of interest. Therefore, basically boosting their networks and also potentially also their career and future opportunities as well. Here you can see a variety of the activities that we offer with the MCAA. So on the left-hand side, you can see, for example, our mentoring platforms. The most recent one is PepCV, almost at the bottom left of the screen, which supports researchers with narrative CV writing, which is very, very important at the moment. And then we also have a lot of online webinars, in-person events, workshop, you name it, everything. And we also publish books, and we have the examples here of the books on Marie Curie and Alan Turing. And finally, our conferences, and I'll talk about this shortly. Reflecting on our year so far, in 2024, at the very beginning, around March, we organized our flagship event, which is the annual conference. This year, it was in Milan, in Italy. And for this specific conference, we had more than 300 in-person attendees and 100 connected online as well. And we had so many different parallel sessions which were organized by our members, which is a very nice thing to see, like the enthusiasm and their expertise shared throughout all the different activities that we do. And of course, there were also opportunity for networking, as we see on the picture at the bottom left of the slide, and yeah, some panel discussions, and that is an example there represented on the slide as well. More recently, we were in Katowice in Poland, and we have pictures on the right-hand side of the screen where we have our executive director, Mostafa Sharav, participating in a panel discussion at the MSCA satellite event discussing the future of the MSCA program. And some of our board members also participated in very interesting discussions about rethinking research assessment and the manifesto for early career researchers at the Euroscience Open Forum, which was just after the MSCA satellite event. And I think this is a very nice summary in pictures of what MCA is about. So offering career development opportunities, offering networking, but also sharing the views and perspective of our community at a relevant event and at high-level conversations. Some examples here of our chapter and working group activities. First, we have the example of the Andean Caribbean chapter, which organized in October 2023 a very, very successful conference in Cartagena, Colombia. And this was very well attended, and they covered a variety of topics that were relevant to the participants of the region. So we had the science diplomacy, we have citizen science, and so on. So it's a very nice example of how the MCA can catalyze these sort of conversations and scientific cooperations internationally. The second example that I bring to you today is that of the Research Management Working Group. It's currently very active. It includes more than 100 research managers from around the globe. And it's a community of practice where research managers that are involved in European funding can contribute and can lead conversations and share their own experiences, do troubleshooting all together to help each other develop. And one of the most important outputs, most recent outputs of this research management working group is the document that I list at the bottom right of the screen, which is about recommendations on the role of project managers in collaborative MSCA projects, which is a result of a World Cafe that they organized in Toledo, in Spain, a little while ago. And we are in the process of finalizing that document to be published very soon, which hopefully will be of great interest to a lot of research managers. And finally, on my side, I also wanted to mention some very recent general interest groups, which are the precursors of our working groups. And one of them is about sustainability, which is very important. This specific general interest group aims at fostering discussions and activities to help move the Green Charter and implement it into MSCA-funded projects. Another one, led by our colleague Quentin, is the General Interest Group in Artificial Intelligence. Again, another opportunity for MCA members and beyond to contribute to the implementation of AI in research. So, yeah, this is a whistle-top tour of what we offer as an association. So hopefully that will enthuse you to join us, because, as I said, it's free membership and open to all recipients of MSCA funding. So please do have a look at our website. And I will now hand over to my colleague Quentin, who will talk us through the opportunities and the activities of the UK chapter.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm very glad to see all of you, and also many people I saw by mails and meetings. So to remind, I'm Quentin Loisel. I'm the UK chapter chair. So to visualize a bit what does it mean, that all what described Maria very well is like all the international aspects. And basically, if you zoom in on the country of UK, you have these structures, which is the UK chapter. So my work is basically to organize a community of the MCA in this specific, in the 4 nations actually of UK. And we have like, let's say, a few mission and activity as a chapter, which is very community-based in a way. So we can encourage like networking between peoples. We can try to organize activity, which is meaningful and useful for our community. We can also support, obviously, the mission of the MCA. Sorry, I have a look on my slide sometimes. Interacting with external stakeholders, so we'll see a bit what does it mean in practice. And organizing events, also we have good examples coming in August, and participating in funding proposals. So, for example, we define a goal for the year a bit, and we try to organize also a mission that is meaningful for the community. And the goal for this year, which ends in September, is basically reaching and engage, because there is plenty of people who could benefit from the MCA, so we try to reach them. And then when people are into the chapter, we try to engage them so they can fully benefit of the whole advantages of MCA. So we are the biggest chapter actually of the MCA. So it's very interesting, because I heard a lot about today how UK was popular and a good destination for research. And actually, we see that in our association also. We are the biggest chapter. And so we have 774 members plus chapters friends, which are the grantee-funded fellows, which is also included in our community. So a bit like a review of the last year activity to give you like some practical examples of what we are doing. So there is collaboration, basically. We are very lucky to collaborate with great people from UKAO, for example, for this event, UKRI, for welcoming a grantee fellow in our community. I'm sorry if I mess up between UKAO and UKRI, but they are lovely people. And your access, for example, for like an event tomorrow, as it has been said by Huna. And so try to spread more, communicate more about the benefits and what is going on in our community, with like creating some tools for that, like a newsletter, which is very easy to access, and try to update people's about like the benefits they can timely, also in the year, about conferences and everything. Which has been launched in November and had already like 105 registered members. We have also like city ambassador programs, which is basically trying to manage the fact that, well, we are MSCA people, so we are traveling, and it's mean basically starting from scratch to another country or another city with another cultures. It's not easy, and basically we can like leverage our network to have humans contact points when you arrive in a new city. So it has been launched in May. It's already have like 7 ambassadors covering 6 cities. So if you go in one of these cities, you can basically have already tips about how to arrive in the city and also like contact them and engage with a human basically to feel how to go in the city and settle well. So it's like a very practical example of how we try to raise benefits to our community. And we have also like organized events. For example, we have an ESR Summer Days training, which will be in the 9th of August. I will share you some information about this. But basically to also meet, network, and being like very practical, like bring very practical tools, but also innovative. For example, like we will explore AI for research and try to think about these important moving questions for science. So that's a bit of examples. I will share very like quickly my experience as it has been said. I'm still a PhD student, so it's very interesting because it means that you can join the Alumni Association when you're still doing your fellowship, and I deeply encourage you to do it because you can have access to all these benefits, all this network, and I was not aware of this. I know about my project officer and my supervisor who told me that's a good idea, so it's have some layers before, so I'm here to tell you directly go in. And so basically very practically what it brought me is like some social meetings, like I'm organizing social meeting in Glasgow, so it helped to break this loneliness we can have in our laboratory, and very, very good for mental health. Some freedom. The association is really open to let you engage activity and initiative. It's aligned with the goal and the mission. So it's amazing. You have resources, you just need to use them to make something nice. Career development, definitely, like networking a lot, meeting a lot of people, but also understanding the diversity of the research ecosystem. I mean, as a PhD student, I was like, okay, whether I have my PI, I have the publisher, this is all. And actually it's wider. And when we know that a lot of us won't finish in academia, but outside, it's very useful to understand how it's works and where you can take place in this. Learning, where you have like resource to learn. I love Coursera, and I have a license, it's amazing. So I wanted to mention it. And innovation, as we said, I'm very happy that you can bring the question of science. Science is moving fast based on society and sustainability. And I made this proposal to bring this question of generative AI basically in science, and how I'm sure most of you are using in a way or in another, how it's going to change science. And it has been very receptive to create something and think about it. So you can find these resources there also. So I think it's all for me. You can find all the different contacts. If you want to have a look on the event for the chapter in Brunel University, or if you want to register to the newsletter, please do. You just have to enter the link tree and you will fill all the relevant link. So I think it's all. Did you have anything to add? Okay, amazing. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thanks very much again, Quentin and Maria, to bring that sense of energy about being a beneficiary of Marie Curie actions, and that sort of bottom-up action that comes from the life of researchers. At the same time, it's I think I'd like to underline once again the support of the Commission for the Marie Curie Alumni Association, which I think it deserves an applause as well. As I mentioned at the beginning, the association was established and is supported by the Commission, but is run also by the voluntary contribution of 22,000 members, which is extraordinary. So we have now time for just a couple of questions. If there's anything in the audience, burning questions, I'm happy to take them.
I was just curious, for us who are applying, seeing previous applications is very valuable. Is that something that alumni might be looking at?
Consultation.
Well, sorry, we are discussing. I think you can definitely reach the association if you want some advices. I think the research management group, working group might be the most appropriate for that, but you will be redirected if you ask. I know also that it's possible, we are proposing like career development things, and I think like workshop and elements like this. And I know that for your application it can be useful, and you can cite the association as a partner to support you for that. That's an option. So just reach and ask, and our network might be able to provide this.
I would also mention the mentoring platforms that I touched on in one of my slides. So you can have some support on the narrative CV writing through that, but also through the MCAA Academy, you can get some more tailored support from specific aspects of the applications as well. So yeah, there are also additional tools as well that you can access to the association.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Just one comment. I had a very nice discussion with Quentin during the coffee break. And I just learned that I'm a friend of UK chapter because I'm funded by UKRI. So I just wanted to raise the questions, rethink and find a solution how we can be fully engaged in UK chapter, because we have passed all the steps which others have passed, and it's like unfair for us. We are just a friend. Thank you.
Yes. I think you got some support there. It's not an easy answer, I think, to give, Maria.
No, this is absolutely a fair comment, and I really empathize with that. I think at the moment we are currently engaging in conversations on how we can make access to the association as wide as possible to also the so-called friends of the association. But obviously, it would be nice if they could be members and not friends. But yeah, you will hear about it hopefully soon.
Yes. Yes. Perhaps one final question or remark? Otherwise, I'd like to ask you to join me to thank once again the speakers, Quentin, Maria, and Dajana. And now, I'm sure you all agree with me, it's been a great day, and we deserve a break and some drinking, but not before giving the floor to Claire Morel for some closing remarks, and then to Deputy Director Georgina Drury for closing remarks.
So I will try to be short. On the last question that was asked, I think the issue is a legal status. It says in the status of the association that the members must have had an MSCA experience. I think it's illegal, but we're looking into it. And as Quentin said, it's important, I think, for hosting organization, for supervisors, etc., to allow researchers to attend and to participate in the events organized by the Alumni Association. Too often, in fact, when we were in Katowice not long ago, or during their annual events, the researchers are telling us, my supervisor didn't allow me to come, so I took some days off. He's not aware. I'm doing this without him or her being aware. I think this is really part of the spirit of MSCA. MSCA is about supporting researchers in their career development, and networking and training is an essential part of it. So, I mean, I don't know exactly what's your role in MSCA, but if you apply to get an MSCA grant, I mean, the role of the Alumni Association is essential. And as Quentin said, some researchers might feel a bit isolated, and by joining the association, they have this feeling of a community. But I wanted to end this day by thanking all our colleagues from the UK, from UCRO, from University UK, from UCRI. Thank you very much for. We started a few months ago thinking about this event. Just to mention again very clearly that we were very happy, not only us in the European Commission, but also the European higher education, the European R&I community is happy that the UK is back in Horizon Europe, and in particular MSCA. You've seen figures. The UK, as I said, is a great R&I and very attractive research destination. And because we've heard, I mean, during discussion, some colleagues saying, is the UK really welcome? I mean, is this cooperation really appreciated? It is. So I think really don't hesitate. I hope that, I mean, I'm sure you've received a big amount of information. You might need a little bit of time to digest it. You know that you have the great national contact points who can help you in case you want to apply. Really, they are there for this. If you're interested in particular in the doctoral networks, they have an information day. Is it on the 2nd of July online? So there will be, because we had a session and there were so many questions that you might want to join it. I hope that you were convinced as well by the researchers and the professors who who explain, I mean, how MSCA projects have completely changed the way they work, has opened them a world of international collaboration, has changed as well the life of a lot of researchers, and I hope that you were convinced by that. All the slides that you have seen and all the links and everything will be shared with you. So I think that's I mean, all what I really wanted to say. You can, I mean, it's a lot. You need to digest it, but the colleagues from UUKi, the NCPs are there to continue, and we are here as well, and the colleagues from the research executive agencies are here to continue to support you, and we hope that thanks to this event, there will be even more application than there were in the past. So thank you very much for having been with us today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Antonino and Claire. So I've got lots of thank yous to make, but before I start on that, there's just one reflection I'm going to share on today, and that's hearing Carsten during the doctoral network session talk about how every single euro invested through MSCA is an investment in the future. And I found, you know, what people have shared today incredibly powerful, and actually it got me thinking about the past and how if I had my time again, I would so definitely have pursued one of these funding opportunities. So it's absolutely fantastic. Please take forward everything that you've heard today, share within your institutions and your networks. We'll be posting all of the recordings to the sessions online. And it's just today, it marks the kind of, you know, the next chapter for us in engaging with the sector and in really, really supporting MSCA applications. So just the final thanks. So thank you so much to the European Commission, Claire, Lucy Swan, who's not with us today, and Diana, everything that you've done to help, you know, working with Diana as well, to organise today, and then for Frederick, Monica and Audrey for your fantastic contributions. Thank all our speakers, the wisdom and experience that's been shared today. I want to thank the international comms team, and specifically Shirley Hussein, who put together our amazing case study video that we had in the opening plenary. Thanks to the session moderators and all our supporting colleagues from UKRI who've been helping behind the scenes and on hand today, not least Ben for stepping into the slide hot seat at the last minute. We've been generously supported by the UKRI events team, and in particular Sue Haydock. UCL couldn't have done it without you two, so thank you so much to Kimberly and Siobhan, you've been amazing. And finally, my team, especially Antonino, John, and the biggest thanks of all to Anne Nairobish. She has worked like an absolute Trojan, and she also, when you work with Anne and you get to know her, you realise what an amazing person is. She's got a heart of gold. And she is absolutely fantastic, NCP for the MSCA. So thank you so much, everybody, and one big round of applause.